Welcome back. Now let's look at printing a particular rule from your data frame. For instance, we want to print day 3. We are only interested in printing day 3. In order to do this, we can make use of the log attributes to return a specific rule. So let's see how we can do that. Now I already have this. When we run this line of code, this is where we stopped. When I run this particular line of code, if I happen to run this particular line of code, that gives me the data frame. Now you can see this gives me the data frame. Now, if I'm just interested in just row 1, all I need to do is to use the log attribute. Okay? And specify just 1. Or if I'm interested in 3, I specify 3 and run that particular code. Now, as you can see, it only brings out the output for that particular column I specified. That is the first row. It only brings out the output for that particular. So we make use of the log attributes when we want to print out a particular. We want to print out a particular row from your data frame. Also, load file into a data frame. If your data sets are stored in a file, Pandas can load them into a data frame. Okay, we can also load our file into a data frame. Now, using the load a command separated file into a data frame. First and foremost, we use the import pandas as PD. Then we can use pandas to load data into your IDE, whether you're working with an Akoda, whether you're working with a Jupyter notebook, whether you're working with Jupyter notebook, whether you're working with a PyCharm. But what is important is this: where your file is, the current directory you're working on, your file should be on the current directory. Like in this particular instance, like here now, I am in this particular. Now, if I want to load a file during the, to load the file, all I need to do, I should ensure that this user vein PyCharm project Python class. Now, this is the path for this particular this current window I'm working on. This is a file path. All I need to ensure that my user, I go to Vim, I go to PyCharm project Python class. I ensure that my file is in this particular folder. Sorry, that my file is in this particular folder. User Vim PyCharm, and let me expand this. I ensure that my file is in this particular folder. Okay. Now, user Vim PyCharm project hello world. Now, I must ensure that the file I want to load to PyCharm is in this particular folder. So I'll go to user, I go to Vim, I go to PyCharm project and hello world. Okay. User Vim PyCharm project and what? Hello world. Okay. I have to follow that path. I go to that and I go to user Vim PyCharm. Okay, I have to go to my user. Okay, that's now this is my user thing. Then I have to go to PyCharm. I have two PyCharm projects. I don't know which is which. Okay, but it has to be hello world, and I have two hello world. I don't know the exact hello world. Yeah. So but whichever the file I want to load, I must ensure that is okay. That's PyCharm project hello world. Okay, fine. This is it now. So if I want to load any data, a CSV file into my PyCharm, I must ensure that the file is in this particular folder before I will be able to load it. Okay, for instance, now, so we want to load the file. Now, we are going to use import pandas as PD. Then the data frame is an object. I create an object known as data frame. PD.read underscore CSV, a CSV file. Then I print data frame. Now, what we are trying to do is this. Now, let me see a particular data set in my Okay, now this is the hello world folder. And you can see the file path, user v PyCharm project hello world. In this hello world folder, I just hello world folder, I just posted a particular data set here. It's known as survey sample. Okay. Let's see, I think this should be a CSV file. Okay, let me try opening it and save it as CSV file. So in case it's not a CSV file, let me ensure that the CSV file. I'm going to save this as a CSV file. It's not a CSV file. Then I'm going to use that code. I'm going to load it into my PyCharm. I'm also going to go to my Jupyter notebook and also load it in my Jupyter notebook. Okay. Okay, now this is the data set. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is a data set here. Here is a data set. Okay, and here is a data set. So let me try loading in this part. Let me close it. And let me try loading it in okay. So I've copied and pasted the data set there. I've copied and pasted the data set here. Now I want to load the data set into my PyCharm. But take note of the name of the data set. So let me just copy this. Okay, that's the name of the data set. And then let me try going to my PyCharm. So import pandas as PD. Then let me call data frame. That's an object equals to read we are going to use the read.csv file. That's what we're going to use. We are going to use the read.csv file. The read dot the pandas.read CSV. That's what we are going to use. Pandas.read underscore, okay, CSV. Now you can see we have different, now you can see in case you want to load an Excel file, you want to load a JSON file, you want to load an HTML file, we have that we want to load a SPSS file. Okay, now, but what the file I want to load now is a CSV file. Okay, I use this. Now I'm going to paste this .csv. Okay. Now I've done that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say print the data frame. So I'm going to tell Python to just print the data frame. Now let's see. Let's just try running this that particular line of code. Let's see. Okay. Now you can see that this actually run the CSV file. You can see it gives me the number of rows and number of columns. So this is how to import your data into your whichever IDE you are using. Okay, let me quickly do that of okay, let me see how we can do this in Jupyter Notebook. Okay, let's bring up the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, this is my Jupyter notebook. Yeah. And in this Jupyter notebook, I have, okay, in this Jupyter notebook, I have this in my Jupyter notebook. Okay, I have different CSV files here. And here is where my CSV file is located. Now, this is a folder on my computer. This is a folder is located on my computer. Okay, I have different, now these are various files. Okay, I have a CSV file. Okay, I have a particular car sales CSV file. I have this car underscore CSV file. Okay, let me just copy that. Car underscore CSV file. So when you go to my Jupyter notebook, you can see that I'm actually working on this particular folder. You can see I'm working on that particular folder. I see the car underscore CSV file. So I can work with this. All I need to do is to click on this I load a new notebook. Then I'm going to say import pandas as I'm going to import pandas as DP. Okay, data frame equals to dp dot read underscore the CSV file. Okay, just the same thing we did there. Dot CSV. Then we'll print. Okay, the data frame. Okay, we'll just run this particular line of code. Just run this particular line of code, and now you can see using the Jupyter notebook gives us more of our data sets. Now you can see a printed data set. Okay, you can see that gives us the car sales. So give us at least up to 35 data sets. So this is how to load your data set into this is how to load your data set using Pandas. So recall that Pandas is used for cleansing your data sets. Pandas is using for removing column, dropping the column, updating your data. It's used in cleansing your data set. And we've seen how we can use Pandas to load your data set into your IDE, whichever IDE you are working with. So whenever before you start doing your analysis, you load your data set into your IDE. So we can see how we do that using PyCharm. We can also see how we do that using Jupyter Notebook. You can also use Anaconda, whichever IDE you are working with. The process are the same thing, but just ensure that your file, your data is in the folder, the current folder you are working on. That's just what you just need to ensure. Okay, we are going to cut it up here and continue there. Okay, so that's where we are going to continue with. The next time will come on. So name index, pandas read the CSV file. A simple way to store big data set is to use the CSV file, command separated file. CSV simply means command separated file. The CSV file contains plain text and is a well-known format that can be read. Okay, now you can also download data.csv file or open a CSV file. Okay, we're going to continue from here the next time we meet.